The AA Daily Reflections for May 6th, entitled Hold Back Nothing. The real tests of the situation are your own willingness to confide and your full confidence in the one with whom you share your first accurate self-survey. Provided you hold back nothing, your sense of relief will mount from minute to minute. The dammed up emotions of years break out of their confinement and miraculously vanish as soon as they are exposed. As the pain subsides, a healing tranquility takes its place. That's from 12 and 12, page 61 and 62. A tiny kernel of locked-in feelings began to unfold when I first attended AA meetings, and self-knowledge then became a learning task for me. This new self-understanding brought about a change in my response to life's situations. I realized I had the right to make choices in my life, and the inner dictatorship of habits slowly lost its grip. I believe if I seek God, I can find a better way to live, and I ask Him daily to assist me in living a sober life. Hold back nothing. Well, obviously, we're talking about the fifth step. Provided you hold back nothing, your sense of relief will mount from minute to minute. The dammed up emotions of years break out of their confinement and miraculously vanish as soon as they are exposed. Sometimes, as the pain subsides, a healing tranquility takes its place. Whew. You know, there's something to be said about the first time you do a fifth step. A thorough one. Not even a thorough one sometimes. My first fifth step was in a garage in Pensacola, Florida during the summer. And I don't know if you've ever been in a garage in Pensacola, Florida in the summer, but it gets a little muggy. So I was sitting there sweating with a guy named Flounder. I think I was just full of shame the first time I did it. And then at the end, you're supposed to sit and think for like an hour or something. That was like the one thing that I was holding back and super ashamed of. And when I told him, he was like, oh, I did that. Actually, it was worse. And then he told his story. That is when, poof, stuff vanished for me. And for me, that harkens back to thinking that I was special. That somehow my situation was unique amongst other drunks. All right, going down. A tiny kernel of locked-in feelings began to unfold when I first attended AA. That wasn't necessarily my experience. It took me probably months of going into AA before any of those locked-in feelings began to unfold. The new self-understanding brought about a change in my responses to life situations. This, for me, has been the biggest game changer in my sobriety. And I wish I could say that it happened right after I did my first fifth step, but not at all. Self-understanding and self-awareness has been the biggest game changer to, in my opinion, to really get momentum as far as being able to consistently be in a place of serenity. And serenity for me means lack of anxiety, lack of response to the world. So I'm in traffic, somebody cuts me off, and I'm like, Someone cuts in front of me in a line, I'm like, Saying something to somebody that in the past I would have considered it adversarial and been scared to say, but saying it in a way that it's not adversarial. I realized I had the right to make choices in my life, and the inner dictatorship of habits slowly lost its grip. I think habits in here, if we go back to step 4 and it talks about instincts is used 19 times in step 4. I think we can replace instincts with habits. Now, habits doesn't have as heavy of a meaning as instincts, because instincts, we go back to what is innate in us. And I will always default to my instincts when I'm not in self-awareness or self-understanding. How I used to react to life, I don't have to react to life that way, because I have the right to act however I want to. Viktor Frankl wrote an incredible book. He was a Holocaust survivor. It's called Man's Search for Meaning. And the takeaway is I have the right to act in the way I want to in any given situation, regardless of what it is. And there's some Jungian philosophy in there too about being completely divorced from other people as far as how they affect us emotionally, whether it be good or bad. And this part really, I think, is talking about agency, that we are in control of our life and how we react. And someone can't take our joy or our serenity because they cut in front of us in traffic or cut in front of us in a line. The other thing that I love when it uses the word habit, a habit is reinforced by doing the activity over and over and over again. And the inner dictatorship of habits slowly lost its grip. So our habits dictated how we acted. But we can form new habits which can dictate how we approach life choices. And I love that because it's about the reps and it's about the work and it's about how often we implement something. What was uncomfortable and uncommon now becomes comfortable and common if we really flex the habit muscle. Prayer and meditation for me, it could be doing these daily reflections. It could be taking a beat, taking a second, not responding, not reacting. All that can be developed over time. I believe that if I seek God, I can find a better way to live, and I ask Him daily to assist me in living a sober life. I know this sounds a bit simplistic and a bit woo-woo, but it really works. And I'll tell you the reason why it works, because even the act of repeatedly asking God to guide our actions throughout the day is one that brings self-understanding and self-awareness. So by repeating a prayer, even thinking, okay, whatever, I'm just going to send it up there. But by doing the action, by doing the reps, it builds our self-understanding and self-awareness that we need God to be driving our behavior and not us driving our behavior. So it's another way to reinforce humility and where we really land in the universe, which isn't very high. We're not running anything, or I'm not running anything. So this is a really good one because I love any type of reinforcement of self-awareness. And I also love any type of reinforcement of agency or control over our own life by being humble. And that's the true irony or the true paradox, is in order to have true, or not even true, but an opportunity to have agency over our own life, we must take the position that we have no authority or agency over our own life if we are in charge of our own life. Oh, I just love this because the more I understand what my habits and my instincts are, the easier it is not to indulge in them in a negative way. Good one. All right. If you're not sober, please go to a meeting, get a sponsor, talk to somebody. If you are sober, reach out to a buddy today and say hello. Give them some encouragement. And then go to a meeting. Thanks.